On ABC Radio Sydney, this is Drive with Richard Glover.
Well, it wasn't long ago that Cessnock High had a reputation as a school you may wish to avoid. Misbehaving kids, schoolyard brawls and HSC results that left much to be desired. Well, today the Hunter Valley Public School is being called the new blueprint for quality teaching, boasting some of the most improved NAPLAN results in the country. Cessnock High's principal, Peter Riley, is here to tell us all how they did it. Hi, Peter.
G'day, Richard.
Yeah, tell us, before we get on to today, which is the most important thing, tell us about yesterday in a way. What was the school like 5 or 6 or 7 years ago?
Oh, look, it was one that probably wasn't, certainly wasn't achieving the educational outcomes it was capable of doing. Probably dealing more with well-being and welfare issues more than academic issues. And as such, you know, there wasn't a heavy focus on learning. So we've been able to flip that on its head and really strong welfare support now in the school and a heavy focus on learning and achievement.
Yeah, my teachers have described fights going on in front of the school of big issues with behaviour.
Yeah, look, we probably had certainly deal with some issues like a lot of schools do, but yeah, it was probably, you know, as I said, learning wasn't the focus at the time, so as much. So, you know, that was one of the areas we certainly had to get people engaged with our learning and appropriate behaviours at school, I guess, and really turn that focus on everything we do into achievement.
Yeah, well, you've certainly done that. The Year 12 results have improved by 50%, which is just incredible. So how have you done it? What's changed?
Oh, look, probably 3 areas. One is whole staff focus on our teaching and delivery of that, so our quality teaching practice. The other part is in our delivery, but having a wellbeing framework that just looks at developing relationships all the time. So a really strong focus on trauma-informed practice when working with our kids and what they come to school with and it's packed in their bag every day. And then the other part is supported by a really strategic professional learning program where we're giving teachers time to develop and engage with that learning all the time. So they're probably the core areas that we focused on.
I mean, one of the things that's sometimes said is that teachers, especially young teachers, don't have a lot of support in the classroom. You do your student-teacher experience, of course, with a professional teacher, but then you're kind of thrown in the deep end in a way. Under your system, teachers regularly constructively critique other classroom techniques and help each other develop their professional skills.
Yeah, certainly. We, as part of the teacher's load, we give them time for their own professional learning. So instead of more teaching, they're given time to work together in personalised learning groups where we do develop our practice, where we review our practice with each other all the time. It's time for professional learning so that they have the time to really engage with it, and it's not a tack on sometimes, or it's not something they do when they're so busy the rest of the time. So yeah, a big focus on strategic professional learning to help them develop their practice and a whole staff way of being, of consistency in the approach we take to teaching and learning.
Okay, I mean, I still think the challenge is maybe about discipline. How do you get, if you've got a handful of kids who are, you know, fighting or just, you know, being incredibly disrespectful or refusing to take instruction from the teacher, how do you deal with that in the modern world where you don't want to just expel people all the time? You certainly can't belt them. So what do you do?
Look, you know, you've got to have high expectations. That it sounds a bit old school, but you've got to have high expectations that every child is capable of learning. You've got to engage with the parents. You've got to push those high expectations in what we do and have people be part of that solution to solving it, not going back over the same thing. So what do? You engage them in the classroom so that, you know, if you can engage students with their learning and you have strong relationships, then guess what? The behaviours turn around because the kids actually want to be there. We get more kids attending school then. We have less behaviour problems because the kids actually enjoy the learning. We make the learning environment better. We make teaching more relevant. Guess what? it's relevant to the kids. They want to learn more about it.
Yes,
so it's not rocket science.
It ends up, doesn't it? What is normal? And if normal is a quiet, attentive classroom, then kids like to fit in with normal. But if normal is the opposite, then they like to fit in with that as well.
Yeah, we just have high expectations on everything. We've developed a really strong school culture where staff, we talk about what are you willing to walk by? Well, we're not willing to walk by things. We want to call kids on being their best all the time, and we have high expectations for learning. We have high expectations of our community to support us, and I've also got high expectations of my staff to give their very best, so that, we talk about treating every child as their own. And you imagine that attitude, you go into teaching and you're teaching it as if it's your own child in front of you. Well, I think you're going to do a pretty good job. So,
what's been the response of the teachers to go through this journey with you and then to find it's worked? It must be very satisfying to be part of a successful experiment.
It's really satisfying. It all starts with my staff. They've committed themselves, as I said, our consistent practice now for 4 or 5 years. We've felt a change in the culture and a shift in the way of being at our school. It's calm, it's attentive. But to get some actual hard data like we've achieved with our HSC and our NAPLAN results, it's great for our staff to sort of get that stuff to go. Well, it's not just a feeling. We are actually making a difference, and what we're doing is working. And
handy to have Newcastle University there. You've got Drew Miller there, who's kind of making sure that the data is there, that you are actually achieving things, apart from NAPLAN, of course.
Yeah, look, we've had a longitudinal study with the uni now for 4 years. We engaged Drew and his team 4 years ago to say, well, can quality teaching work in a low socioeconomic area and school, and the implications and issues that I guess often arise with them. And so we've worked with the uni now for 4 years and studied our practice and what we're doing and how we're going about it consistently with him and his team, and been a great support.
Yeah, what a delight it must be for everyone to put all that hard effort in. I'm sure it's been tough, particularly in the early years, but to put in all that hard effort and then, get in a way the report card with this one bit of data, but there's lots of other bits of data like this. But imagine having year 12 results in NAPLAN improving by 50%. What a result. Hey, Peter, thank you so much for talking to me.
You're welcome.
There's Peter Riley, who's the principal of Cessnock High School, which has partnered with Newcastle University to improve teaching practices with these so-called quality teaching rounds. And my God, it's worked. It's currently 2 minutes to 4.